Meeting to order. Couple quick announcements here. I think everybody saw the email. We were selected as a finalist for the, Troy, help me out here, the Parks and Recreation Management and Operation deal. What was that called again? The gold medal, something or other?
Just in short, probably it's easy to just call it the gold medal. It's a very prestigious annual award for the best Parks and Recreation department in the country.
Awesome. It's a huge deal. So congratulations to the staff and everybody involved.
Thanks. We're one of 4 finalists, and we have one task to do left, and that's to finish a video. It's a 5-minute video, and you turn that in, and it gets judged along with all the other material that we've already turned in. We'll find out at the end of, in the middle of September, we'll find out if we were chosen as the number 1 or not. So, but in either way, one of the top 4 in the country is still nothing to sneeze at. Still a pretty good thing to brag about.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing, I'm out at a charity event today. I completely double booked. Didn't realize it. So my apologies for that. I'm going to have to hop off here in a little bit, but just wanted to get it started and kind of get the conversations rolling. So I know we've got a few public comments. I would make a motion to move our golf RFP discussion to a special meeting next week, if that's good with everybody.
I'll second that.
We've got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
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 All opposed? Motion passes. Troy, I'll get with you on what date works for everybody and what time. And we need to, sit down, and that needs to be a special meeting. So.
That sounds perfect. I think just a suggestion, just to keep things on a regular schedule of how we usually do things on Mondays. That's just my suggestion, but if we don't work it out that day, we'll make it work and we'll get it scheduled for everybody.
Okay, sounds good.
Eddie, did I hear one nay on the moving the meeting, or was it a unanimous vote?
I believe it was unanimous. I did not hear a nay.
Dale's hand is up. I'm not for sure what he's.
I was just curious as to why we're delaying the week.
So, for one, and again, this is my fault for double booking here. I certainly want to give this discussion, more time than what I have currently today. And I think it probably fits in a more of a special meeting atmosphere anyway. So if we can just delay it by a week, that would be perfect. So, Penny, did we have any public comments not regarding the golf
No.
situation? Okay. So we can push those to next week, can't we?
Could I ask how many public comments we received?
I have either 59 or 60. I lost count.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
About 60.
So we can, did everybody have an opportunity to read over the minutes from April 12th?
Minutes are not completed for April 12th. My apologies.
No worries. Let's go ahead and start the discussion on the subcommittees. I talked to, I think, mostly everybody last week about what kind of I had in mind, kind of penciled you guys in, and then had discussions with you, last week, and just to make sure that we're on the right track. And I think we came up with a pretty good list here. So golf, I've got Dale, obviously. I think he's very much a part of that, so I think he would be a perfect fit to oversee that subcommittee. Dale, if that's okay with you, then we can make that more official. And Troy, will you will you be sending out more details, once we finalize this?
Yeah, what I could do is set up some sample meeting dates with each one of the committees and a little bit of information about each committee so we can do kickoff meetings and just kind of make sure every every park board member gets the information they need so we can start moving forward with discussions individually as individual committees and then be able to bring that information back to the park board.
Fantastic. So Dale, is that good with you? Golf?
I'm not familiar with is there a list of committees that's been published or?
So I've got golf, obviously. I've got diversity and inclusion. I've got the budget, the CIP, park maintenance, and programming.
And I'm only on the golf one. Is that what you got me down for?
Yeah. So each board member will head up an individual subcommittee. I believe we've got 6, so it works out perfectly. And I'll just kind of float around and oversee each one of them as well.
I'd be interested in the budget committee, and could I be a member of that, or am I restricted just to the golf committee?
Troy, do you want to answer that? I don't know how we want to set this up here.
Well, I'm sure he can be invited and participate in any one of those meetings, but I think what the idea is each one of the park board members is going to head up one of these subcommittees.
Thank you.
So could he head up the golf one and be on the board for the budget one?
Mr. Palmer, I couldn't hear you very well.
So could he be on the head of the golf and then sit on the board for the budget?
I wouldn't call it a board. If it's a subcommittee that they could be part of, sure. I don't see why there's a problem with that.
I mean, just that way he can at least still head up the golf. I mean, if that's okay with Dale, I guess. I'm speaking for Dale, but.
That's fine with me.
So for diversity and inclusion, I've got Alejo Cabral. I think Alejo is going to be about 20 or 30 minutes late. I think he's got another meeting as well. So I've talked to him last week and he's good with that. So we'll go with that. Budget, I've got either Ty or Troy Palmer, whoever wants to take a look at that.
I thought you had me on the CIP. That's why.
Yeah, I think that's what we had
works.
decided. I'll do the budget and then Troy do the CIP, and we can, as we discussed just now, kind of also take on some of these other subcommittees, but not as the, kind of the chair, if you will.
Perfect. So Ty on the budget, Troy on the CIP. Gotcha. Park maintenance, I talked to Philip last weekend and he said he's good with that as well. So still good with that, Philip?
I am, yes.
Thank you. And then programming, I've got Tori. You still good with that, Tori?
Yep.
Perfect. So Troy, what do you need from us? That's 6 of them. So
what I'm going to do is develop a packet for each subcommittee with just some information and help set up some dates so we can have staff there to support discussions or answer questions or develop processes if we need to.
Perfect. All right.
With the exception of golf, because that's already developed.
Yeah, right. Okay. Let's see what's next here. GAC communication. So, naturally, good boards and committees have good communication. So if you're not already, this is what I ask of each of our board members. If you're not already in contact with your GAC member at least once a month, please carve out 5 to 10 minutes to touch base with them to see how everything's going, just so we have a thumbprint on what's going on. So, Troy, would you want to add anything to that?
I do. We do have a vacancy. I've tried to get some kind of written communication from one of our GAC members. I've tried several times. He's not come to any of our meetings the past at least 6 or 7 months. So I would suggest that, and I think this is Tori's appointee, I would suggest that we go ahead and vote him off the GAC today and bring somebody else on.
Tori, would you like to make that motion?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and make the motion to remove him.
Second. Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
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 All opposed? Motion passes unanimously, and we will start the process of finding somebody new.
Actually, maybe, I don't know if it's too soon, but if we have a rescheduled special meeting next week, maybe that's something we could kick that off with or finish that meeting off with that. New appointee.
That would work.
Okay.
We could get that on the agenda. That would be excellent.
All right.
Have we had communication with anybody, any potential committee members or new committee members?
I have not.
Okay. All right, guys. I think that pretty much takes us to the updates. I'm going to hop off here. Again, I apologize for double booking. This was my fault, but you're in good hands. See you, everybody.
All right. Thank you. We'll see you later. So I think we're on number 4, and that is the recreation update. I think Reggie has some information that he wants to share.
Mine's not long enough to share. No, the big black one on this other side, that one.
Okay.
Just click it.
All right. So guys, I have just an update of some activities that are going on leading into the summer. We're preparing for our summer camp activities that are actually taking place there. And our first location we're giving an overview on is the Boston Rec Center. Boston does a really good job of doing a lot of specialty camps that we offer there for the community, and they're filling up really quickly for us for the summer time frame, and excited about getting some of those camps up and going. We're also looking at ways that we can work with the local media to do spotlights on some of those camps as well. So one of the other big things that we've done a lot of push for with some of the COVID restrictions on the limits with size of people in our facilities is opening up to more rentals. So we've included some long-term rentals to take up some of the space in the facility. You'll see that Boston has went to 4 long-term sports rentals that are there and adding 2 more soon. And it's kind of the trend that we're seeing for a lot of our rec centers with moving forward with our current restrictions that we've had in place with COVID. So next up is Linwood Rec Center. Linwood reopened their doors on April 1st for doing a gradual reopening for some of the services that we offer through senior services. They started out on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 to 3 with modified activities that they'll have in place. And we're also looking at starting to reopen back up for the senior dances that we have at 4 of our centers that will resume in June. And we're working with those GAC club dance coordinators to implement those safety precautions for us to have those facilities open. This summer, Linwood will be hosting one of the partnered with the Horseshoe and Cricket class for the upcoming summer, and we're also hosting one of the Horseshoe Club tournaments at Linwood this year, summer as well. So we're looking forward to that. The splash pad construction is on the way and is looking really good, and we're looking to start our opening up there 7 days a week from basically 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. for the summer months beginning on Memorial Day weekend. We also, I'm sure you guys remember that a little while back we had the open shelter that was over at Linwood North that was burned down. We're actually starting on construction for that now to be able to have that back available for community use as well. So we're excited about that. We're able to get some funding to move forward with that project. So one of the other big things that we move forward on, I'm sure you guys know about the renovation that we did at the tennis center, and we officially had our reopening ceremony there on April the 24th. Had a good turnout for it, and we did it in conjunction with a tournament that Mo Conley Foundation was doing as a fundraiser for them to continue to be able to have funding to help support some of our activities at the tennis center as well as throughout the community. So we had the mayor there, the council person, Clay Cohn, for that area that was there, myself that spoke at the event, as well as we had some representative from the Mo County Foundation, as well as the USTA that was there as well. So looking forward to continuing on that partnership. And we also have a kind of open up the summer kickoff event that's coming up later in the month on the 22nd of May, where it's going to be free play time for him to come out and enjoy the facility and look at the new improvements from 4 to 8 p.m. So if you guys have any availability, come out and enjoy that event. And we're also looking at going into the next phase of that project. We have some of the funding left over from that donation that we got from Mo Conley to look at doing some improvements to the actual clubhouse area there. So we've already started working with Public Works to look at some options on that and potentially expanding some of the restroom facilities there because of the more courts that we have that's going to get the larger crowds out and making that more friendly for those individuals who are coming to the facility. And kind of last but not least, we had our open registration for the summer. That's out now, so the new Evolve Guide will be getting mailed out to the community as well as being available at our city facilities. And it's also, we're working with Community Rack that has displays at restaurants and hotels and businesses throughout the Wichita area that we have them displayed as well. So we're looking forward to summer. We partnered with USD 259 and we're also continuing the summer meal program at our summer camp sites, as well as it will be available for grab and go for the community as well, so that they will have an option for a healthy food choice for those kids during the summer that need it. So it's kind of a wrap for us leading into the summer, real big push now for summer camp, and moving forward to start planning for the fall after that. So I'll open up if anyone has any specific questions about anything.
I don't have a question. I just want to say thank you for the last 3 meetings that you haven't been able to present. Thank you for all those previous months too.
All right, thank you. I think Ty has a question.
Yeah. Ty, I think you have a question.
Yeah, my question is just kind of about upcoming events, in particular with the splash pads and the pool season opening. I'm sure there's a lot happening before our next regular scheduled meeting in June. So will we be getting invitations to those things, or like, for example, I think the McAfee pool openings the weekend of Memorial Day. Can you just kind of inform us a little bit on what to expect on that front?
You beat me to the punch. I was just about ready to talk about that. So Penny's going to send out some tentative dates, and it's been kind of difficult because some of these dates have been floating around a little bit because of construction. The construction folks haven't been able to give us exact dates of when everything's going to be done. But here's what we have. We had to reach out to our council members and get them scheduled. But I'm going to read this off to you guys, but you also will get this in an email. So the pools, May 29th at 1 o'clock, is McAfee. June 4th at 1 o'clock is Ailey. June 5th at 1 p.m. is Orchard. June 11th at 11 a.m. is Manissa. And June 12th at 1 p.m. is Harvest. So we'll get that information out. That's the swimming pools. I'll get to the splash pads in a second. McAfee, we're going to have a pretty substantial opening. We've gotten some donations to go towards the grand opening, which will probably be some food and decorations and maybe some activities. The rest of them, there's just so many of them. We don't want to wear ourselves thin. I think we're going to be really simple, keeping it simple, using my old KISS system, where we'll have each one of the council members say a few words, and if any of the park board members from that district want to say a few words, they're more than welcome to do that as well. Then we'll do a ribbon cutting and just get it going. We want to get the kids going into the pools and the families going into the pools. Splash pads. Here are the dates for the splash pads. May 28th, 10 o'clock is going to be Edgemore. So Edgemore, May 28th, 10 a.m. Boston, May 28th, 11 a.m. So we're going to go back to back. Evergreen, we're going to do on June 11th at 10 a.m. And Linwood is still yet to be determined because there is some significant construction delay for Linwood. But I'm expecting that to be mid-June sometime, and as soon as we get a date, we'll let everybody know. So the expectations, we would love everybody to be there. We try to get as many folks out there to support it as possible. All the park board members are officially invited. Consider this your invitation. We're not going to send out an official invitation in the mail or anything like that. We'll send you information via email. And if it's in your district, I would expect and want you guys to work with your council member. And if you want to say a few words, we'll make sure to get that into the program. We'll provide scissors, we'll provide the ribbon cutting, we'll provide all the kids and the families and all the water to get things going. So hopefully that answers your questions. If Ty, is there anything else that I missed?
No, not at all. Thank you.
We also going to have several other ribbon cuttings this summer. We have a few playgrounds that are going to be built, and then in the fall we'll have the O.J. Watson four-season shelter along with some other items as well. So very significant year of ribbon cuttings. We've already had two. We had the tennis center a couple weeks ago, and we had the not necessarily our ribbon cutting, but it was something that we supported, was the boathouse for the Wichita Rowing Association, which is in our park. We do a partnership with them. And so we had a great ribbon cutting this past Saturday for them. So lots of things going on in our parks. So I think that covers item number 4. Item number 5, I think we're postponing that. The golf updates and first tee, we really, the Golf Advisory Committee, I think we had a meeting this past Thursday. We can probably give that update next week at the special meeting. Park maintenance and forestry update. David, did you want to share any information?
So yes, this past month, of course, was Arbor Day. So we had a nice Arbor Day celebration, which we did it a little bit different this year. We actually made a video of the guys planting the trees there. You can see some pictures of them. And we invited Project Beauty to be involved in it. And we planted some nice trees down there in Peachtree Park. So Arbor Day was our big thing for the month. And Gary Ferris, I think here in a couple slides, you'll see that we created a video that will be out there on Channel 7 that he talks about Arbor Day and the importance of Arbor Day and history and that kind of stuff. So that was pretty cool. We had a nice event. So for the month of April there, you can, one thing I might back up and say, park maintenance and forestry is basically made up of 3 different work sections. We have the forestry work section, of course, that takes care of city trees. We also have the park maintenance, which is a group that deals with mostly grounds maintenance. And then we have a group that does construction and special projects. So I kind of divided up my report into those 3 specific groups, and I'll go through them here. So inspections there for citywide trees, you can see we did 2,142 in the month of April, pruning 822, tree removals called TFRs, they're top for removal. We did 296, stump grinding 302. We didn't do any inspections this past month, and then we created the Arbor Day video. And you can see the guys there. Gary Ferris is pictured there. He's the one that led the video, and he did a really great job. So some support activity that we did did some tailgate meetings. Our Lucidity maintenance work orders are constant. We produce those by the dozens every day. We have a large log management program where we take the large logs to different places to be recycled, and or sometimes we have to take them out to the landfill, but we have some big equipment that can go around and pick them up and handle those loads pretty well. So the loads of logs hauled for job sites was 58, which that's a ton of wood. No pun intended there. So for the Arbor Day 2021, Forestry conducted the first virtual Arbor Day event. 3 Lewis and Clark American elms were planted at Peachtree Park. Channel 7 and Katie Dawes from the Park and Rec assisting in creating the video. Tyler did all the videoing for us, and so we appreciate all of that. As you can see, Project Beauty was there. And there's the link to the YouTube video. You can go out there and watch it. It's pretty cool, very informative. Gary knows his trees and his history of trees and the history of Arbor Day really well. So May scheduled activities, data collection. We're going to continue. We're going to do some pruning of trees over at the tennis center. We assisted with setting the flagpole at the Fresh Air Baby Camp. We're going to do lots of pruning removals at the ice center, inspections, more tree removals. That's just typical work that we do every month, every day. So this is the construction and special projects section, and that picture happens to be a picture out of Pawnee Prairie Park, and we needed to replace that footbridge, and Brett Russell, the supervisor of this group, had never done an elevated bridge like that, and it took him about a couple weeks, but he came back with a nice drawing and that met all the codes and everything, and we actually built a 100-foot footbridge all by ourselves. It's only about 3 feet off the ground, so we were able to do that. Pretty cool little project. So April, that group worked on replacing the bleachers out there at McAdams Baseball Diamond, installed some protective fence for the pony rides down at Watson Park. You can see they're replacing picnic tables, installed 11 on-leash signs over in Central Riverside Park. We had a complaint about people not having their dogs on leash, so we put some signs over there. We installed 2 new swing mats at West Meadows Park. Installed a pour-in-place rubber surfacing over concrete footings for sand volleyball down at Watson Park, and you can see a picture down there at the bottom the sand and stuff eroded away, so we used some protective playground surfing to cover those up. And then the Hattie McDaniel sign, we installed that, so we helped out the African American Museum by putting in that storyboard for them, which is pretty cool. And you can see the cool little fence that we put around the pony carousel down there at Watson Park. Our guys put that together, pretty good. So, our construction guys get called in to help support a lot of different things. The boxing ring up in Atwater collapsed, kind of a crazy thing, but it did, and our guys went up and helped put that back together. We removed some sidewalks and replaced that. We delivered the lectern up to Evergreen for the mayor's briefing. Completed the oversight of the Leon Robinson playground. You can see a picture of that. We also had a group from WSU come out and help spread the manufactured wood fiber that we use for playground safety surfacing up at Dr. Dye Park, or most people know it as Grove Park. So we had a lot of volunteer groups in the month of April come and help us do things because it was Earth Day, and so people always want to help during the month of April. Some May activities scheduled, like I talked about the Fresh Air Babe Camp flagpole. We plan on replacing 125 lineal feet of decorative iron fence down at South Lakes that got messed up from a car crashing into it. We plan on removing and replacing some tennis posts up at Lynette Woodard Park. Monitor and support construction of the Sherwood Glen Playground and Leon Robinson Pawnee Prairie Park Playground. So we have those 3 projects going. Leon Robinson Playground is completed. Pawnee Prairie Playground is getting pretty close. The Sherwood Glen Playground is very close to being completed as well. We constantly are inspecting playgrounds. We go around and do playground inspections quite often and respond to graffiti and vandalism all the time. That's the go-to. As far as park maintenance, from this picture, you can see one of our issues that we deal with on a daily basis is illegal trash dumping, and our dumpsters are always abused and our poly carts are abused. So this picture is a very good example of what can show up in our parks. And then if you leave it there very long, it just, the pile gets bigger and bigger. So we have to react to it to get it cleaned up. Otherwise, our piles of trash get bigger. So the contracted grounds maintenance crew, basically, this group, we take care of all the ball diamonds. We prepare our athletic fields for games, for tournaments, and that kind of thing. We have a portion of the downtown area that we retained a group of people to take care of all that mowing, the riverside parks and so forth. So most of everything they do is related to grounds maintenance. So the contracted grounds maintenance is, we're pretty much in full operation now. We contract out with 9 different vendors to do a lot of the mowing outside of the downtown area. Staff vacancies have resulted in using forestry inspector to help do all those inspections. Our athletic maintenance is supporting our athletic programs and maintaining and preparing the ball fields for league play and tournament play. Due to a full-time vacancy over there and the hiring freeze, we've had to transfer some of our irrigation crew over to be reassigned to the athletic maintenance. Our retained grounds maintenance service group that I was just talking about has switched from winter projects to summertime type maintenance. We've contracted out Century 2 and the Hyatt complex because we're running short on staff, and you can see there homeless cleanups and illegal dumping continue to be an area of concern with the work groups. This area is responsible for. Our refuse crew is providing trash carts, emptying service at the winter service level still, because we haven't been able to hire any part-time seasonal staff. So instead of running 2 trash trucks, we're still only running 1 trash truck, which is affecting our efficiencies and how clean the parks look and so forth. But hopefully that will all change soon. And then part of this group is we have a noxious weed crew that goes around and sprays parks and right-of-ways and stuff to try to deal with invasive plants and stickers and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of times we grab those guys and have them do other things, and they seem to do it with a positive attitude. So with the short-handedness of my group, we're just happen to try to maintain safety. We're trying to maintain cleanliness. We're just reacting instead of planning ahead like we should, you know, and my team has done a really good job of pitching in and helping each other out. So that's basically my overview, and I'll stand for any questions you might have.
Looks like Mr. Goder has a question.
Yes, thank you. That repeated reference to staff shortages, hiring freezes, and no seasonal workers. I'm concerned that we're compromising our mission to some extent. Those are, as you just noted, David, it's really difficult for you to accomplish your tasks sometimes without the appropriate staffing. Is that a can that be expressed somehow in our budget scenario? How much money are we saving by not hiring people? And are we doing that out of necessity to balance our budget?
Well, right now we have about 40 vacancies that, and they have, since the pandemic, we've added more vacancies and so forth. But yeah, it's right out about $1 million. I have to, in the budget, when you look at the budget, I have to have about $780,000 in planned savings. So that's about 15 or 16 positions. Then I have some others that are frozen for other reasons. But since the pandemic, it's just kept snowballing. We've lost people, and with the hiring freeze, we haven't been able to hire them back. So yeah, I would say we're, without looking exactly, we're about 1.1 million with 40 vacancies.
It's having a very large impact on our operations and our park standards. Has an impact on how well we can do our job. And we've expressed this to the city manager. They're holding these positions back because they want to make sure that there's a balanced budget for our whole organization. So it's not just Parks and Recreation that has experienced this. It's happening in Public Works, in all departments for that matter. So we're hoping that there will be a change soon, because they're looking at other ideas and options of funding and managing the budget. So when we get that information, we'll definitely be able to change what we're doing right now and hopefully bring some more staff on board.
So the 780,000 in planned savings, that's you planned that from the beginning of the year. Those are positions that are funded but not filled.
Correct.
And I've never quite understood that. If we're not going to fill them, why do we budget them?
Well, for the hopes that maybe someday we will be able to budget them and fill them. If we lose the position and take the position away altogether, then we have to start all over again to bring those positions back into the budget process. Yeah.
I'd rather plan for them to come back than to lose them, you know, and so I just plan around that.
But the money for them is in the budget at the beginning of the year?
Right.
And that's just carried over as a reserve fund?
I don't know how it looks on paper. Yeah, they just carry over from year to year. And then we have additional vacancies that we're working on trying to get filled or get approval to fill.
I know we're facing the same issue in the golf division, and it's been at a detriment to the quality of our product. That's long term. I hope that somehow gets addressed, because it's not good. We just mentioned we're in for a finalist for a national award. That wouldn't fit in very well with that scenario, but I do hope for the next budget year that somehow gets addressed. And we'll certainly be there to help you advocate for that if it comes to that point.
We appreciate that, Dale.
We've been asking on a regular basis for additional funding, and we're competing with all the other departments as well. So eventually the final decision comes to council, and they're the ones that actually approve the budget. So yeah, we want to make sure that we tell our story, because I think Parks and Recreation has a huge impact on the quality of life, on the quality of our facilities, the expectations of what people want here in Wichita. But you're right, after a while, if we continue down this road, it's going to have a huge impact on the standards of our care of all of our parks, facilities, programs, all of it.
Well, Mr. Palmer, that'll be your task as your budget subcommittee to make that money come back in.
Any other
Can't
questions?
wait.
Any other questions in regards to item number 6? All right, we'll move on to item number 7, which is the finance update. Emma, I think you have some information that you want to share.
Yeah, I do. I'm sharing my screen. Let me know if you have trouble seeing it. So we're going to start from first slide. It's just saying it's today. And then we're going to start from revenue side. And I'm giving you year to date, which is end of April, since April is closed. As you can see, admin is $9,509 for revenue. And if people are curious about where it's coming from, it's from SBA tower rental. And that's where revenue sits right now. And recreation is $147,941. And as far as percentage goes, 35% comes from rental, 34% lessons and fees, 28% is concessions, and park maintenance and forestry, which is Davis division. Most revenue comes from special events. And because COVID restriction and the weather as well, since a lot of special events are outdoors, first quarter is really slow, and it's even slower this year because of COVID. But we're anticipating a turn up this summer because the whole COVID situation is getting better and the weather is going to get nicer. And something else we're thinking is going to make a huge impact is deploying point of sale to all the swimming pools and South Lake locations. When customer has ability to pay, especially concessions with credit cards, which we don't have right now due to restrictions from previous software. And this new software allows us to take credit card payments at remote locations, and we're anticipating a higher revenue or impact on the revenue side because the new technology impact. On the expense side, as far as division goes, I am looking at budget because we have to stay within budget, looking at bigger pictures to help the whole city stay afloat. And the numbers are where things are at for all different divisions. And as you can tell, we are average about 24%. And on the first quarter, 24% is right on track. That means that we're planning on within budget by the end of this year as well. And one thing worth mentioning from the budget hearing a couple weeks ago, $275,000 was taken out from Davis team for 2020 and 2021 due to COVID economical impact. And $275K is going to come back from that tree removal in year 2020, which is next year, and $175K is coming back to us in planting trees as well. So they'll be really helpful for the forestry department. And bear with me, I know we went through the slides in JAC meeting, but we want to mention again for the park board as well. As far as revenue goes, again, this is year to date for end of April. This is where revenue comes in. I think Nancy asked a question, hey, where is golf admin revenue comes in? Big chunk of it comes from we get reimbursement for vending commissions for using certain vendors to give us a commission. So that's where it sits. And some of the miscellaneous fees, admin charges sitting here as well. And as far as revenue goes, right now we have a little bit over $1,079,409 as Auburn Hill comes first, and then tax and Sim and Mac. That's where things are at for golf revenue. On the expense side of it, and this is overall for the individual department, and net position for us is positive in the black, which is great so far, because usually first quarter is very slow for golf, as everyone knows, because of weather restrictions or weather reasons. Net position for 2021 as of end of April is $161,547. Sorry, I want to mention something about the revenue as well. So last year, our net position was positive as well. It's about 525,000 in the positive, and that's not part of this number. Just want to point it out. And next one is, I figure folks might have questions about golf admin since Troy has left. Why is it still so high? So I have a little bit breakdown of where things are at. 27.5% is payroll and benefit, 34.5% is contractual, and that entails bank charge, software lessons, maintenance fees, data center charges from IT. 38% is commodity, and most of it is the city admin charge, which is about $58,000. That's where it's at. And I think some folks want to update on the golf equipment replacement funds balance and where things are at, or where the recent activities for past year and this year, and they have those listed as well. And all three of the activities were for Auburn Hill. So that's my presentation. Any questions?
Yes, Emma, if I could, I'd try to communicate. I was interested in how our unfilled positions affect our budget position. Mr. Haltman's filling in for the vacant golf division manager. That's $110,000 salary. We have a pro at Sim Park that's vacant. That's probably another $60,000. I think there are a couple of others, and those are not anticipated to be filled. So when you project to the end of the year, do those savings with salary and benefits, that's probably close to $250,000. Can you project to the end of the year and tell us what that number might be if those stay unfilled?
To be honest with you, that part has to be communicated with the budget first before I can provide that information, because mostly comes from them. They do get feedbacks from us, but we usually work together as a team to come with the projections. I can reach out to budget department and provide that information in next park board if that's okay, or next GAC meeting if that's okay with everyone.
On the face of it, it looks very positive to have the 100 and some thousand in the black before you factor in the savings that would be, I guess you'd call those planned savings, that would influence our end of year balance.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, logically it makes sense to me as well. But like I said, I can't give you a number until I communicate with the budget department first, just to see where their heads are at. But yeah, I mean, we'll definitely take that into consideration as well.
Thank you.
All right, so moving on to item number 8, the Wichita Parks Foundation update. They did not have a meeting last week. And Alejo, if you want to add anything into it, but I think they're just getting ready for Red, White, and Boom. They were able to hold on to the sponsor for Red, White, and Boom. And other than that, I don't think there's really anything else to update. Alejo, is there anything that you wanted to share? All right, I think Mr. Goder, you still have your hand up. I don't know if you have another question.
No, sorry.
Okay. Well, Alejo must be away from his computer right now. But there really wasn't anything else to share in regards to the Park Foundation. The president update from Eddie. I think I don't know if anybody else wants to fill in for that. If anybody else has anything they want to share. And then item number 10 is the director's update. We are going to be having the 4th of July Red, White, and Boom. And like I mentioned, we have a sponsor for that, and we're going to be working with the baseball team, the Wind Surge, on that night. So excited to work with them. This will be the first time that we'll really have a chance to work with them. And it's going to be a good night. And we're also getting ready for Open Streets. So that's going to be a big event in the fall. So other than that, I think we just have our normal operations of what we're going to get done for the summer, but it's really busy. Doing a lot of partnerships, a lot of great things. This past weekend over at O.J. Watson's a great example. We had a obstacle course for kids, and we had over 500 kids there. It was just a great day, even though it was a little bit cold and windy, but to see the kids being active and their parents out there supporting them. So lots of different activities. That's just one of hundreds of activities that we're doing this summer. I wanted to, Alejo, you're back on the call. Was there anything else you wanted to share? We lost you there for a minute on the Park Foundation or anything else?
No, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, I think the only, I can't remember, I didn't hear if you said it or not, but it sounded like at the last meeting we're pretty close to finalizing those benches for the initial project that they're funding through the Plates for Parks thing, or through the Plates for Parks initiative, I should say. And that'll be exciting. I think they were doing a really good job of getting every district an equal number of benches and recognizing some pretty exceptional leaders here in the community through Wichita's history, I should say. But that'll be, I'm not sure what their timeline looks like for those benches, but it'll be exciting to be a part of that once those are ready to get installed.
I did get an update. Sounds like they'll be done mid-June, and probably installation and all the way through July. And we've asked them to go ahead and do the installation. We'll probably have to go out there and pick the sites. Just a little bit more background. We ended up picking 2 benches per district, so for a total of 12. The really cool thing about these benches is that they're painted with a lot of historical characters from Wichita or events, and so it's going to be really kind of geared towards that district as well, that area of the city. So we're pretty excited about it. This kind of goes along with the keepers, what we did with the keepers, but with benches. And it's really kind of great, adding some really cool art and some distinctiveness into our parks. So we really like that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Last thing I wanted to talk a little bit more about the gold medal. And before it was the City of Parks and Recreation Department, it was the Board of Park Commissioners. And we actually won this award back in 1967 in a tie with Seattle. So we shared it with Seattle back in 1967. And the thing that we really worked on, and Mr. Goder kind of touched on this a little bit in regards to whether we would be worthy or not. The theme that we went off of wasn't necessarily our facilities, because we do have really aging old facilities, but we really focused on our programming, we focused on our partnerships, and we focused on our impact in the community on health and wellness activities. And so with that, we were really able to put together a really good packet to really demonstrate how our impact is with the community. But more than anything else, I think it's just the testament of the work of the staff. The staff that we have here is overworked on all areas, whether it's parks, whether it's recreation, whether it's botanica, whether it's aquatics, whether it's forestry, Great Plains Nature Center. All of our staff is way overworked, and they get the job done. They do extra hours to get things taken care of, bend over backwards for the community, and the impacts that we get from the community with all the thank you letters I get, lots of emails, really kind of saying how well we do with all the programs that we do. is really kind of a great feeling, because on a weekly basis, I get at least 2 emails, and every once in a while I do get cards in the mail. We still get cards in the mail every once in a while of people thanking us for all the things that we do. And all that comes from our staff. We have great staff, overqualified, overworked, but huge pride and huge hearts. And I really applaud our staff, and I hope you guys appreciate them as well. So that's all. I'm going to finish on that. Tori, I apologize. I kind of just took over for you. I just wanted to help you out because I know it's kind of difficult from where you're at. So I thought I'd just go ahead and take over. Anything else, Tori, or anybody else for that matter? All right, I think we can entertain a motion to close the meeting.
I'll make that motion.
I'll make the motion.
Either way, I'll second it if that other person got the first there.
Sounds like Mr. Palmer seconded it.
Yeah.
Okay. All votes, please say aye.
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 With all the votes, I think we got a vote to go ahead and close the meeting. All right, well, if there's anything else, feel free to give me a call or shoot me an email. We'll be sending out the schedules of the ribbon cuttings. Thanks for attending the meeting.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.